paragraph is
Hmm.
okay. It's
बताइए।
Zhang Yui.
Mm-hmm.
It's the founder and chairman of Broad Sustainable. He just showed a time lapse video of its 30-story achievement. In this, they just showed workers just buzzing around. They just construction workers buzzing around the gnats. This they just show their 30-story achievements.
हाँ,
Basically,
30 story achievement. Very good. So I'll just
yes.
tell you. Good. So see, it is saying that ZY is founder and chairman of Broad Sustainable Building, who on 1st January 2012 released a time-lapse video of its 30-story achievement. So he released a video. In that video, probably, it showed or it depicted some 30-story achievement. It shows construction workers buzzing around like gnats while a clock in the corner of the screen marks the time. In just 360 hours, a 100-meter tall tower called the T30 rises from an empty site to overlook the river. So this is the achievement, and this is why it is known as 30-story achievement. In just 360 hours, that means in a very less amount of time, in very less time, a 100-meter tall tower was built from nothing. So this is the 30-story achievement that the video is showing. At the end of
Yes.
the video, the camera spirals around the building overhead as the Broad logo. Broad is the name of the company and it has a logo. Appears on the
Okay.
screen, a lowercase b that wraps around itself in an imitation of the symbol. So from here until here, it is describing the achievement. What is the
Achievement.
achievement? The achievement is that they could actually, build a 30-story building, a 100-meter tall 30-story building from nothing in just 360 hours. Okay. So this is the
Okay.
achievement. Then the next part, the company is in the process of franchising, spreading
It's like
it. Yeah, it's technology. Just a franchisee, KFC franchisee, McDonald's franchisee.
yes.
You start at your place and then gradually you spread it to the other places and other corners of the state or city to partners in India, Brazil, and Russia. What it is selling is the world's first standardized skyscraper, and with it, Zhang aims to turn Broad into McDonald's of the sustainable building industry. So basically, Zhang is Zhang has started something. What has he started? He has basically started, or he has basically done something which was only dreamt of. तो उन्होंने जो start किया that in 360 hours he built a 100-meter tall tower out of nothing, and then he started franchising this technology, or he started spreading this technology. When asked why he decided to start a construction company, Zhang replies, it's not a construction company, it's a structural
It's a
revolution.
structural revolution.
So creating a brand, creating a brand name, creating a legacy, he has basically started a company which has brought about a revolution in this building thing, in the sustainable building thing. And that is why it says structural revolution, something which is done for the first time and something which brings about a profound and a huge transformation. Okay.
Okay.
So that is the idea from this particular paragraph. So what is the idea? The idea is that this is talking about how this achievement of 30-story building was done in just 360 hours, and how Zhang is trying to spread it. Zhang was the
Okay.
first one to do it, and Zhang is trying to spread it to the other people, to the other parts, see, India, Brazil, and Russia. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So now if we go to the list of heading, so can you tell me which heading should work from here? Be very careful. As I told you earlier also, we are not focusing only on the individual words. We are focusing on the entire idea, and we are making it sure that this entire idea is supported by our understanding of the paragraph, the central idea of the paragraph.
It's a fourth one, a building like no other.
Very good, very good. A building like
No other.
no other. Right. And which is the building? This is the building, this that they said, no? See?
T30.
First, T30. First standardized skyscraper. So this is something which
Okay.
happened for the first time. And Zhang was once a first standardized skyscraper is basically 30 stories. So they are calling it 330.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. So now gradually are you understanding the way we are doing it? List of heading, how we are reading the paragraph. है ना?
Yes, ma'am.
तो जैसे मैंने आपको बताया that if you really want to get your list of heading questions correct, and if you really want to understand the idea and the flow of ideas and the language of the paragraph, then पढ़ने का तरीका आना चाहिए. There's a way of reading it. Most of the times, what we do is we read the entire paragraph at a go, that the one after the other. No, read the first sentence. Okay, this is the idea. Second sentence, this is the idea. Try to connect both the ideas and then move on to the third sentence. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Paragraph B.
From the people interrupted.
Yeah. Tell me, Sumita.
In this paragraph, basically, the central idea is that they just told us the about the skyscraper building, how they built
Very
actually.
good. Very good. Excellent. Excellent. Yes. They told how they built it. So if you look at this, it says so far, Broad has built 16 structures in China, plus another in Cancun. They are fabricated at two factories in Hunan. From here until here, all this entire thing is nothing but, talking about or giving the steps, right? Step one, step
Yes.
two, step three, step four, step five. Number one, the floors and ceilings were done, then the pipes and ducts were done, then the client's choice of flooring was done. So this entire paragraph is nothing but steps that were needed to build the complete structure from scratch or zero. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Now moving on to the list of headings. Which heading should work?
From factory to building site.
Very good. And we also have a textual evidence. See here in this para, if you look at this para, see it starts with this. The floors and ceilings are done, and then over here the result is far from pretty, but the method is surprisingly safe and phenomenally fast. Okay. So this is why now you tell me when you are doing this, if you apply that keyword method or that first sentence, last sentence method, okay, will that work?
No, ma'am. Is it really not working?
Exactly.
First of all, you just read the paragraph. After that, you just conclude which one is the right one.
Exactly. That is the whole idea behind, so the method that you were telling about yesterday, scanning the words, that also would work, but probably not in this type of question. Could be for some other kind of question. But here, if you really have to look out for the heading, then you have to thoroughly go through the paragraph. There is no other option. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do paragraph C.
Then you to use success to creativity.
Yes, tell me.
In this map, they just told us Zhang attributes his success to his creativity and to his outsider perspective on technology, basically. So basically, he just started his career as an art student, but suddenly they just left the art and started work with his senior vice president, Julia Zhang.
What is the
And
idea? What is the idea?
central idea, they just told us about the Zhang story. They just leave the art and joining the technology, means engineering part something.
Acha. Okay. So let's see. You are correct. Partially you're correct. Let's see. So Zhang attributes his success to his creativity. What does it mean? Attributes his success to his creativity. What does that mean?
Means in his life, what he creates.
या सो एट्रीब्यूट्स इज सक्सेस टू क्रिएटिविटी का मतलब होता है कि वो जिम्मेदार ठहरा रहे हैं उनके सेंस ऑफ क्रिएटिविटी, यू नो, द सेंस ऑफ क्रिएटिविटी, हिज पोटेंशियल ऑफ क्रिएटिविटी, पोटेंशियल ऑफ inventiveness, the way he can create things. So he's telling that,
Okay,
you know, I could become successful only because, you know, I had this creative potential and creative power within me. This is one
okay,
reason. And second reason is his outsider perspective on technology. So Zhang
okay,
basically says that I could become successful because of two factors, because of two reasons. One is creativity. I had this potential of creativity within me, which helped me in, you know, creating such a big tower. And the other one is outsider perspective on technology. Outsider perspective का मतलब होता है, although I am myself not a technologist, okay, I
okay.
probably have not studied in technology. I probably have not yet worked, I mean, have that expanse of knowledge or, you know, work opportunity or experience in technology. So I am outsider, right? But even if I'm
Yes.
an outsider, I have a perspective, I have an opinion, I have a point of view with regard to that.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. जैसे हम लोग बोलते हैं ना बॉलीवुड में, यू नो, बॉलीवुड में दे से दैट आउटसाइड पर्सपेक्टिव ऑन बॉलीवुड, व्हिच मींस you are not a part of Bollywood, you are not doing movies, you are not singing and dancing, but still you have a, although you are an audience, and also, you know, you have a perspective or point of view on whatever is happening in Bollywood. Okay.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. So he started out as an art student. See, art student, arts in 1980s. But in 1988, Zhang left the art world to found Broad. So the name of his company is Broad Sustainable Building. So he started as an art student in the field of art, but gradually and later on, you know, he left behind art and he basically started working on finding this Broad Sustainable company.
Right.
The company started out as a maker of non-pressurized boilers. So even before Broad could build up those structures, you know, those T30 structures and those, yeah, you know, strong, tall towers, Broad basically started working in the field of making or manufacturing non-pressurized boilers. Okay. So his senior
Yes, ma'am.
president, Juliet Singh, says he made his fortune on boilers. Fortune on boilers means the concept and all these boilers became so successful that he earned a lot of money. Making his
Okay.
fortune, मतलब कि अपना अपना भाग्य कायम करना, तो अपना भाग्य लक आप कैसे कायम करते हो, आप एक चीज बनाते हो वो इतना ज्यादा सक्सेसफुल हो जाता है that, you know, you start minting money out of that. आइल्स,
Okay.
आइल्स की कोचिंग पंजाब में, basically people are making their fortune out of IELTS coaching in Punjab.
Okay.
है ना? So that's the idea. He could have kept doing this business, but he saw the need for non-electric air conditioning. So dekha, there's a change. Pehle he started with art, then he
Yes.
moved to non-pressurized boilers, then he went to non-electric air conditioning. Towards the end of the decade, China's economy was expanding past the capacity of the nation's electricity grid, she explains. Power shortages were there. So, large air conditioning units fueled by natural gas could help companies ease their electricity load. So, there was a need and demand for air conditioning. Why? Because there was a lot of power shortages, or there was a lot of, you know, power outages, or we say this to be load shedding. So, because of too much of load shedding and power cuts, they needed AC. Today, Broad has units operating in more than 70 countries in some of the largest buildings and airports on the planet. So, this entire paragraph is talking about what? What is the overall idea that you're getting? That Zhang started as an art student. But then he
Yes.
moved to making non-pressurized boilers and then AC. So different areas of work, right?
Okay.
Yes or no? Different areas of work. So what should be the answer over here? Which should be the heading from here?
Other engineering achievement?
Okay, other engineering achievements. Because these are engineering achievements, right?
Yes.
These are engineering achievements only, no? Non-pressurized boilers,
Yes.
what do you say this? Non-electric air conditioning. So these are engineering achievements. So art, first it was art. Then from art, he founded the company Broad. Broad started its business or its work with non-pressurized boilers, then ACs, and then probably these skyscraper buildings.
Yes.
Okay.
Skyscraper. Yes, ma'am.
Chalo, let's talk about paragraph. So this is how you have to read. Are you seeing how I'm doing this flowchart पढ़ते पढ़ते? लिखा पूरा
Yes,
language
ma'am.
में है, this entire thing is written in language, but you can only pass this test if you can convert this entire language into mathematics or into logic. So I read this entire thing and then I just wrote 3 steps, and that summed up or summarized the central idea of this paragraph.
Yes, ma'am.
This is the correct tarika of reading, understanding the flow of ideas in a paragraph. ना कि just reading यहाँ से यहाँ तक पढ़ लिया और फिर कुछ कुछ आपने समझ लिया और बोल दिया. ठीक है? Dots को
Okay.
connect करो. मुद्दा, the simplest way of making you understand, connect the dots like this.
Okay.
ठीक है?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Para D now. Done? Sumita, can you tell me?
Yes, ma'am. For 2 decades, Zhang AC business, basically the central idea of this that Zhang became an environmentalist after that, after engineering, because most of the people just demand earthquake building. So they just try to, first of all, they just try to convince the engineers to refit existing buildings to make them more stable and more sustainable.
Very good.
Uh, After that, they want cut cost something. Mr.
Mm-hmm.
So they just drafted their own engineers and own researchers. He was frustrated by the cost of hiring designer and specialists for each new structures. The
Correct.
best way to cut cost is he decided to take building to the factory. This is the main actually.
Okay. ठीक है. Let us see. So
This
for
is
2 decades, you are right. In fact, 80% आपने सही बोला है. Let me just explain it to you in a little bit more precise way. So for two
okay.
decades, Zhang's AC business boomed. So earlier we already saw this.
Yes.
It started with art, then went to non-pressurized boilers, then um, non-electric air conditioning, right? For 2 decades, for a long time, this AC business was running successful. It was quite successful. It was fetching him money, it fetched him fame, name, and success. And it was also, it had a lot of utility. But is a contrasting linker. So what is the work of a contrasting linker? सुमिता, मैंने कल भी पढ़ाया था आपको, बताओ. Why do we use a contrasting linker, or what is the impact or relevance of a contrasting or contradicting transition word?
Contradicting tradition, ma'am. After that, something changed, means to say, first their opinion is this. After that, they just suddenly change their
Change means opposite
opinion.
कर देते हैं, अलग ही
Yes,
हो जाते हैं, एकदम से opposite ही बोल देते हैं. So, but it's a contrasting linker or contradicting transition word, which basically means that whatever you are reading before but and whatever you are reading after but has to be contradicting. A couple of events conspired to change his course. कुछ ऐसा हुआ, कुछ ऐसे सारे events हुए जिस वजह से he had to change his course. The first was that Zhang became an environmentalist. What do you mean by environmentalist? Who are environmentalists?
मैम एनवायरनमेंट से रेलेवेंट, जैसे इंजीनियर है, सो इंजीनियरिंग से रेलेवेंट एनवायरनमेंटलिस्ट जो एनवायरनमेंट को ध्यान में रखते हुए जो काम करने वाले.
Very good, perfect. Environmentalist का मतलब होता है somebody who is doing things, who is manufacturing things, or who is using technology to create or innovate something, keeping in mind that it is not being harmful or doing any sort of irreversible damage to the environment or the ecosystem. So extremely careful and aware about the environment, right? So somebody who is
यस.
not compromising with the environmental resources. Okay. The second was the earthquake that hit China's Sichuan province in 2008, causing the collapse of poorly constructed buildings. So there are two reasons given over here. One, he became an environmentalist. Second, because of earthquake or due to rampant earthquakes, the poorly constructed buildings, they started getting destroyed, or they started falling apart. So these were the two reasons because of which he started thinking of something else apart from this AC business. Initially, he says, so from here until here, it is talking about two reasons, right? Two reasons
Yes, ma'am.
why he changed course. Okay, initially he says he tried to convince developers to refit existing buildings to make them both more stable and more sustainable, but he had little success. तो पहले उन्होंने सोचा कि buildings बदलने की जरूरत नहीं है, मतलब एकदम से तोड़ के there's no need of kind of destroying the buildings and kind of build new ones. It is better whatever is there, we are doing some remodeling in that. We are doing some renovation, we are doing some restructuring and refitting here and there, and in order to make it more stable and sustainable. But this attempt or this process or this effort was not that successful. So Zhang drafted his own engineers and started researching how to build cheap, environmentally friendly structures. That is when Zhang started hiring his own engineers and started doing the study and research कि कैसे ऐसे buildings बनाया जा सके, those buildings which are absolutely eco-friendly, environment friendly, and which are also immune, or they can withstand the earthquake. Within 6 months of starting his research, Zhang had given up on traditional methods. What do you mean by given up on traditional methods? Given up का मतलब होता है abandoning, छोड़ देना, हाल छोड़ देना. ठीक है, मैं और एफर्ट ही नहीं कर रहा हूँ क्योंकि कुछ रिजल्ट नहीं आ रहा है, तो बेसिकली आई एम लीविंग बिहाइंड दोज एफर्ट्स. He was frustrated by the cost of hiring designers and specialists. The best way to cut costs, he decided, was to take building to the factory. Yes, as you said, this is the most important, you can say, idea in this paragraph. So this is a turning point. What happened was that he started hiring his own engineers. He did a lot of research. He did a lot of study. Okay, but he was frustrated. He was frustrated with the traditional method. He was frustrated that the cost of hiring, paying the compensation, paying the salary of all these engineers, it was going beyond control and expectation. That is when he decided that why not do this building thing, building of the structures in a factory. But to create a factory built skyscraper, Broad had to abandon the principles by which skyscrapers are typically designed, which means that if he had to create a factory built skyscraper. Then he had to give up on the traditional method. The whole load bearing structure had to be different. To reduce the overall weight of the building, it used less concrete in the floors, that in turn enabled it to cut down on structural steel. So, this entire paragraph is talking about what? It is telling why and how basically Zhang got into this skyscraper thing, right? Initially he had this AC business, but then because of some reasons, because he became an environmentalist or because of different reasons, his AC business, he turned his direction from AC business into this factory built skyscraper thing, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So now tell me which is the best heading from here.
Basically, change of direction.
Very good, change of direction. So what was the change?
Ma'am, look, building location to building. They just changed the direction.
What was the change of direction? What was the change? इनिशियली क्या था, फाइनली क्या हुआ? चेंज तो कहीं से कहीं तक होता है ना, फ्रॉम टू ऐसा होता है। तो पहले क्या
Yes,
था और
yes.
अब क्या हुआ? व्हाट वाज द चेंज? व्हाट डिड वी
Uh,
स्टडी जस्ट नाउ? he was doing AC thing, right? But from AC
okay.
he started building skyscraper structures
Change of direction.
which could withstand earthquake. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, let's look at the last paragraph. Yeah, paragraph E. Do this.
Applying these methods to skyscrapers. Saying the magnet saving only justified efforts. A broad number. A traditional high-rise will produce about 3,000 tons of construction waste, while a broad building will produce only 25 tons. Traditional building also requires 5,000 tons of water suitable for using buildings these now. The building process is also less dangerous. Elevator system based rails machineries can be installed at the factory, eliminating the risk of injury.
Yeah. What do you understand, Sumita, from this paragraph?
And basically, they just tell about the Zhang environmental saving alone justify the efforts. They just
Yes.
tell about the broad construction regarding the factors actually, basically.
Anything else? Can you read it carefully, work on it, the idea, and tell me what else do you understand? There's one very important thing which you are missing. Can you read it and tell me which one you're missing, which part, which idea? You said it
बेसिकली
right,
मैम जो
but yeah. Hmm.
जैंग ने जो काम किया है उसके रिगार्डिंग बताया है कि उनको इतना टन जो है वेस्ट उनका आना चाहिए था, इतना था, बट उसने जो है एनवायरनमेंट को ध्यान में रखते हुए जो काम किया
Ah,
उससे काफी ज्यादा उसने अच्छा रिजल्ट दिया, मतलब
very
तभी
good.
यहाँ पे जो दिया अकॉर्डिंग टू ब्रॉड नंबर
Correct.
environmental saving alone justify the efforts Zhang
Correct.
only.
Correct. So if you look at this, it says around the world, prefabricated and modular buildings are gaining in popularity. But modular and prefabricated buildings elsewhere are for most part low rise. Okay, it was broad company Zhang's company, which basically started this tall skyscrapers. And this was extremely beneficial and helpful to the environment, the environmental savings. So now here they are describing how it, resulted, what are the different savings or what are the different benefits, how it basically, took into consideration the environmental thing. So according to Broad's numbers, a traditional high-rise will produce about 3,000 tons of construction waste, while a broad building will produce only 25 tons.
25 tons.
Yeah, so are you seeing the difference? Traditional high-rise, 3,000 tons. Broad building, 25 tons. This is less, so this is better. Traditional
Yes.
buildings also require 5,000 tons of water, while broad buildings use none. Second benefit. Second benefit, yes or no? This is the first benefit
Yes.
of Broad's building. This is the second benefit of Broad's building. The building process is also less dangerous. Elevator systems, the base, rails, and machine room can be installed. And instead of shipping, Broad orders a finished car and drops it. So the building process is also less dangerous. So third benefit. So traditional construction is chaotic, he says. We took construction and moved it into the factory. According to Zhang, his buildings will help solve the many problems of the construction industry. And what's more, they will be quicker and cheaper to build. So this is the fourth benefit. So we are reading four benefits, right? Four different benefits or all the different benefits of Zhang's buildings, Zhang's high-rise skyscrapers. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
And we are comparing this with what? These are better than what? ये किससे अच्छा है? अच्छा तो है, अच्छे तो है, but किससे अच्छे हैं? कंपैरिजन किसके साथ हो रही है? सुमिता इज बेटर देन whom? सो वो who और which यहाँ पे कौन है? ये या क्या है? What are we comparing these high-rise skyscraper buildings with?
Basically, ma'am, they just tell about the Zan's building.
Yeah, they are comparing Zhang's buildings with what? If you are saying कि सुमिता अच्छी है, तो अच्छी है, इस उनका कंपैरिजन किसी के साथ हो रहा है फिर, तो वो किस?
Prefabricated and modular buildings.
वेरी गुड, ट्रेडिशनल बिल्डिंग्स बेसिकली, ट्रेडिशनल
Yes.
बिल्डिंग्स है ना. तो
Traditional buildings.
ट्रेडिशनल जो
Yes.
बिल्डिंग्स होते हैं, मॉड्यूलर प्री फैब्रिकेटेड जो बिल्डिंग्स होते हैं, ट्रेडिशनल बिल्डिंग्स, दे आर हैविंग, दे कैन नॉट प्रोवाइड ऑल दीज बेनिफिट्स. ओके,
Okay.
right. So this is talking about the difference, or you can say the benefit of Zhang's or Broad's high-rise skyscrapers in comparison or over the traditional high-rise buildings. Okay, all
Yes,
right,
ma'am.
fine. So you were right. You just said that this paragraph is talking about the benefits of Zhang's high-rise skyscrapers. You missed one thing, that there's a comparison. It is talking about the fact that it is beneficial over the other traditional high-rise buildings.
Okay.
Okay. So which one should be the answer from here?
Examining the overall benefits.
Very good. Excellent. Got it. So this is how you have to work on your list of heading questions. Is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
clear, Sumita? Got it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I'm just closing this room and starting another one. You can join in with the same link. Okay? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.